We would now like to welcome our Honorable Governor of Orissa. I would now request the Honorary Advisor ULF, Dr. Debashish Panigrahi, to please deliver the welcome address. Thank you.
His Excellency Dr. S.C. Jamir, Honorable Governor of Odisha, celebrated writer in English and Marathi Sri Kiran Nagarkar, will deliver the keynote address in a short while from now. Eminent writer Sri Santanu Kumar Acharya, who is presiding over the function, Dr. Asa Hans, eminent academic and patron of Utkal Literature Festival.
Literature reflects all the ideals we hold dear. Why do we go in for literature festivals? Why are we here today? And why did we think of such a theme?
I suspected from childhood that we were a little different from our neighbors. But since I suffer from congenital obtuseness, it took a critic to point out that we were misfits in Hindu colony in Dadar, Mumbai, where I was born. As members of the Brahmo Samaj, or its Maharashtrian version, the Prarthana Samaj, my family were monotheists who didn't believe in any rituals. My grandfather had gone to Chicago for the Conference of World Religions in 1893, along with Swami Vivekananda. He didn't make the splash that the Swami had, but he was invited again in 1903.
What is literature? It is for the people, by the people, of the people, like the government of India. Has it a constitution of its own? If it is no, then what is yes? Literature is meant for your meditative mind, which emanates something for the public, to the society.
Well, I would now take the privilege to invite His Excellency, the Honorable Governor of Orissa, Dr. S.C. Jamir, to address this gathering and share his thoughts with us on this occasion.
I congratulate the Utkal Literature Festival Trust and its co-partners for their maiden venture to organize a wide festival to celebrate literature and arts, particularly the performing arts. Odisha, earlier known as Utkal, the land where art achieved excellence, has both literary and artistic heritage built over several centuries. Rich treasure of literary works and an equally rich and fascinating artistic tradition give Odisha a distinct identity.
I would now request Managing Trustee and Secretary ULF Trust, Shri Manoj Tripathi, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Welcome everybody. His Excellency Dr. S.C. Jamir, Honorable Governor of our state Odisha, Honorable guests in the dais, ladies and gentlemen, you all have added grace, elan and credence to the event.
I would like to start off this discussion with asking everybody here for their views on what they feel is the state of Indian poetry today.
This is the only similarity between those that they are very different from each other. Their voices are very different and they are writing very courageously in their own voices. So, in my view, state of Indian literature is going to be a polyphony.
All the panelists with Dr. Sitaka and so we should have a group.
May I request three very eminent writers among us here who have agreed to release the books, looking at the whole Mahabharata story from the perspective of Karna's wife, which was very interesting, and the success of her book forced her to leave her job in journalism, and now she's a full-time writer. The second book has just come out. So may I request the books to come.
And welcome everybody to this extremely special session of Utkal Literature Festival titled Mystery of the Mountains. One of the greatest classics of cinema, The Sound of Music, starts with a line, The hills are alive with the sound of music. So hills and mountains have always been an abode of stories, music, beauty, grandeur, and stories of pain, stories of struggle and conflict, as Prashant would know, and of course stories of intrigue, mystery, and anonymity.
Before I just answer your question, I want to give the audience a sense of the transformation that has happened in Nepal over the past 10 years. Nepal has moved from being a monarchy to a republic, from being engulfed in this civil war where the Maoists were waging a war against the state, to peace. The Maoists are now part of the democratic system, from a Hindu kingdom to a secular state, and from a unitary state to a potentially federal state. And all of this is happening within a constituent assembly. A constituent assembly is meant to institutionalize these political principles.
I understand literature to be something writable, something readable, something communicatable, something accessible to all ranks and files of people, so that we become better informed. Then there are so many social ethos and mores and a lot of other things. So we get to know that, and if we sort of concentrate on this. And that happens in every segment of the society, in the Bengali society, in the mainland Hindi speaking and writing areas, and here Orissa.
Starting the session so they can join you.
The ecstasy of love, the joy of life, the feeling of happiness is experienced in those tender moments of togetherness. You have now gone. A gaping void is left behind. Dark as the dark clouds, bleak as the daily crime.
In the wee hours of dawn, the sky looks bruised, like my broken ego. The self is suspended in the most poignant moment of life. The sensuality of lust encapsulates of love. The memory resounds like a broken gramophone record.
Nadira kadu anili bandhu. Nadira kadu anili bandhu. Jhudiye oda mati, jhudiye oda mati. गढ़िली बसी दीदी न जाए पुरुष नारी दिटी तपरे धरी हाय तपरे धरी नदीर धारे फिंगिली गोटी गोटी फिंगिली गोटी गोटी फिंगिली गोटी गोटी
पुण्यर फल पाई नाही केबे ओठरू जाईची खसी एबे इच्छारे पाप कली बोली निजकु लागे ना दोषी तुम पाई जहा पापर संज्ञा मो पाई तो सिए प्रीतिर गंगा स्रोत प्रतिकूल जानिबी भसई देईची जीवन डंगा
white marble eyes without a saline drop, stony wings unable to fly in the still sky, my flickering body lying incongruously spread over eyes. Hey, heartless eyes, sing not the song emanating from that blue incandescent fire.
Well, good afternoon and welcome to this panel on translation, one of the most important aspects of literature that we teach today. And while I welcome three of the fellow panelists, it is also our desperate hope that perhaps, at least for the sake of making full use of the time, if they don't turn up, our loss but also our gain, because our panelists can also have more time.
We are giving the assignments for the translations of different books. That is, we are the translators of the award-winning books.
Basically, Sahitya Academy translates the award-winning books. Means we are translating the Odia award-winning books to other 23 languages and the vice versa also.
And I firmly believe that the love for stories is now very firmly implanted in the human DNA. I think we cannot do without stories. Humans have now become suckers for stories. So if you need stories, you also need storytellers. And we have these 4 amazing storytellers with us. So let's just start the session without any further delay.
ମୁଁ ଭାବୁଛି ଏଟା ଉଭୟ ଆର୍ଟ ଏବଂ ସାଇନ୍ସ। ମୁଁ ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ ଗୋଟେ ଛୋଟ ରୋଗ କଥା କହିବାକୁ ଚାହୁଁଛି। ଯେତେବେଳେ ମୋତେ ଏଇ ବିଷୟରେ ଆର୍ଟ ଏବଂ କ୍ରାଫ୍ଟ ବିଷୟରେ ପଚରାଯାଏ, ଗପ ବିଷୟରେ ମୋତେ ମନକୁ ଏଇ କଥା ଆସେ। ଥରେ ଗୋଟେ ବେଙ୍ଗଟା ଗୋଟେ ମିଲିପେଟ୍ ଯୋଉଟା ତେଲୁଣି ପୋକ ସେ ତାକୁ ଦେଖୁଛି ଚାଲୁଛି, ଦେଖିଲା ଯେ ବେଙ୍ଗଟି ଦେଖୁଛି ଯେ ତାର 4ଟା ଗୋଡ଼ରେ ସେ କୋଉଟା ଆଗେ ପକେଇବ କୋଉଟା ପଛେ ପକେଇବ ସେଥିରେ ତାର କନଫ୍ୟୁଜ ହେଉଛି। ଗୋଟେ ମିଲିପେଟ୍ about 400 legs ସେ କେମିତି ସିମେଟ୍ରିକାଲି ସେ ଚାଲିଛି। ସେ ତାକୁ ଅଟକି ପଚାରିଲା ଯେ ତୁମେ କୁହ ତୁମେ କେମିତି ଏଇ ଆର୍ଟଟା କେମିତି ଶିଖିଲ ଏଇ ପ୍ରକାର ଯୋଉ ବାଲାନ୍ସ ଆର୍ଟ। ତ ସେ କହିଲା ଆଲାଉ ମି ସମ୍ ଟାଇମ୍, ମୁଁ ଖାଲି ଉତ୍ତର ଦେବି। ତ ତା ପରଦିନ ବେଙ୍ଗ ଯାଇ ସେ ଜାଗାରେ ପହଞ୍ଚି କିନ୍ତୁ ଦେଖୁଛି ସେ ତେଲୁଣି ପୋକଟା ନାହିଁ, ତା ନାଁ ଧରି ଡାକୁଛି। ତଳେ ସେ କ୍ୟାରମ୍ ବୋର୍ଡର ଗୋଟି ପରିକା ଗୁଡ଼େଇ ହେଇକି ତେଲୁଣି ପୋକଟା ପଡ଼ିଛି। ସେ କହିଲା ତୁମେ କ'ଣ କରୁଛ? କହିଲା ତୁମେ ହିଁ ଦାୟୀ ଏଥିପାଇଁ, କାରଣ ମୋ ଜନ୍ମ ବେଳୁ ମୁଁ ଚାଲି ଚାଲି ଆସୁଛି, ମୁଁ କିନ୍ତୁ କେବେ କନସିୟସ୍ କିନ୍ତୁ ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ଏତେ ଓଭର କନସିୟସ୍ ହେଇଛି ମୁଁ ତାପରେ ଭାବୁଛି କୋଉ ଗୋଟା ଆଗେ ପକେଇବି କୋଉଟା ପଛେ ପକେଇ ସେ ଯୋଉ କ୍ୟାରମ୍ ବୋର୍ଡର ଗୋଟି ଭଳିଆ ଗୋଡ଼େଇକି ମୁଁ ଚାଲି ପାରୁନି।
हाँ, वो क्राफ्ट होता है। तो आर्ट पहले आता है, उसको आप कैसे एग्जीक्यूशन करेंगे उसको कहता है क्राफ्ट। तो हर आर्टिस्ट का क्राफ्टमैनशिप अलग अलग होता है। मैं एक स्टोरी का प्लॉट सोचा, मैं अपने हिसाब से लिखूंगा उसको। इन्होंने जो सोचा ये अपने तरीके से वो किए, तो भावना एक जैसा भी हो सकता है। रविंद्रनाथ टैगोर एक सब्जेक्ट के ऊपर स्टोरी लिखा, मैं भी उस सब्जेक्ट के ऊपर स्टोरी लिखा, लेकिन दोनों का प्रकाश अलग है। तो ये है क्राफ्टमैनशिप, और क्राफ्टमैनशिप इतना जरूरी है इसलिए 150 साल पहले का भी किताब अभी पढ़ रहा है आदमी, अभी का किताब भी पढ़ रहा है आदमी। ये क्राफ्टमैनशिप के जो अलग अलग तरीका है इसीलिए। तो ये दोनों पार्ट जिसके पास है वो एक राइटर करता है मेरे हिसाब से।
आमे माने पिला दिनरू षष्ठ श्रेणीरू पंचम श्रेणीरू अप टू पोस्ट ग्रेजुएशन पर्यंत जो गप पढ़ू ताहा सब आदर्श गप एवं अनादर्श गप भी अच्छे एवं आम मानक से गपरू आम पिला माने वंचित होता है। बहुत भल भल गप आम पिला माने पढ़ी पारते नहीं।
You know, the character, the protagonist wants to speak a lot of things, but by the end of the paragraph, he decides, oh, I will not speak. You know, most of the time, all my short stories, you will, the other fellow say, we all are sitting here. He also is feeling something, the other person is also feeling something. The moment, you know, he feels, okay, I'll tell this. But after some time, he feels, why should I tell? If I tell, half of the meaning is gone. You know. So better we are shut up. In fact, in my lot of short stories, you will see the lines have not been finished.
For me, myth, epics, all those things are magical. It's stuff I love. In the last session, we talked about how stories are magical and beautiful. I just love stories, whichever way it goes. You know, I love stories which are old and you know, which belong to that Puranic time and which we just retell, which our grandmothers tell us, you know, over and over and over again. And we'll say, tell me that story again, and it's beautiful every time you hear it. And that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to keep that storytelling tradition alive. You know, say a beautiful story, a beloved story yet again. And at the same time, I love versions like this also, like what Kavita has done. I love people who are creative with the material at hand and who keep the magic alive, but in a different way. So
Mr. Tulsi Vatsal, to just tell me what is it that comes to her mind when we say contemporary travel writing. How do you feel that it's different from the traditional way of travel writing? How has it evolved? How has travel writing evolved
over the years? What is it that we call contemporary travel writing today?
Well, I want to just raise a question here. What is history? History is the collective accountability of a society. And what is society? Society is each one of us. Today, how I travel, I could be making history because I'm going from one place to another in a very short fraction of time. And perhaps that is how history will be written in the next 10 years, in the next decade or so.
We should be studying our own records, which is very sad it's not done, what Indians wrote to give a different counter perspective to those. I don't know how many there are because
Now, time to launch a book on this platform, and it's a Bengali translation of a very widely acclaimed and popular book of Orissa, Brahma Rakhyasa. I think you have all known about it, most of us have probably heard about it, and many of us have read it, by Dr. Rishikesh Panda, eminent bureaucrat and novelist, winner of many prestigious awards, including the Sarva Saman. And the translation has been done by Mrs. Rita Nath Keshri, who is an eminent translator.
Tribal people who are still in jail, and this is something which I'm trying to fight from this thing. And in the last meeting which I had with the forest, with the other ministry, I told them very briefly, for 3 months I was forest secretary in my state. I had called a meeting at the divisional forest officers. I asked them a question.
Dr. Panda explained the story. I have not gone through the original drama. And the translator explained and described her experience as a translator. I agree with Dr. Mahapatra that writers should register, what should I say?
This one makes an humble effort to highlight the writers from Odisha writing in English. And since one of the major objectives of this festival is to help Odia transcend regional boundaries and establish itself in various parts of the country and abroad, this session is definitely very special. So let me invite the speakers for this session. Ms. Soma Das, a writer come journalist based in Delhi. Her book, Something of a Mocktail, made into some national booksellers list. Can we have a louder round of applause, please? Mr. Satyarth Nayak, an author, scriptwriter, journalist based in Delhi. His debut history meets mystery novel, The Emperor's Riddles, released in March 2014, has already become a national bestseller. And yes, Mr. Sujit Mahapatra, co-founder, Bakul Foundation, that promotes reading and volunteerism in Odisha.
They have been, of course, they are not pioneers, I would say, in terms of writing fiction in English. One thing that is bringing Soma and Satyarth together, or common element, is that they have written fiction. I think we have Professor Bhubaneswar Sahu here, who has written novels in English. There's been C.C. Kumar Das, who has written. But I think it's very interesting when you have young people writing in English.